Hey Brian, how are you today?
Hella, I am doing awesome. I get to see you.
Yay! Now, Brian, we've known each other for it's almost 2 years now, isn't it?
I think so. I think we met in the fall of 2 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, time flies. Time flies. So I'm thrilled to be here with you and to share with people in my audience a little bit about what you do. And so, Brian, you are the founder of Kingdom Family Leaders, and you run masterminds and coaching programs for Christian men. And so, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited.
Yeah, so Brian, can you explain what a mastermind really is? Because there's a lot of people who call things a mastermind, but they're not really a mastermind. So what's a true mastermind?
Yeah. Is it a mastermind, a master class, a course, a membership group? What is it? What's going on with it? Yeah. For me, a mastermind is a group of highly motivated individuals that come together and meet on a regular basis to support, encourage, and challenge one another.
Wow.
And Kingdom Family Leader, that means 8 men meeting every week for an hour to really know each other, to be a sounding board for each other, to know me, to know my family, to know my business, to know my finances.
Wow. That's
And
deep.
it's deep. And there's value in that because F cubed will give you all kinds of good advice. F cubed is your friends, family, and fools. When we
Love
go
that.
when we go to our friends, family, and fools, well, actually, my family is a little bit different. They're like, no, you shouldn't do anything risky or exciting. So I guess that fits still. They do one of two things. They say that, or they say, yeah, that's a really good idea.
Right. Well, I think the mastermind is a really good idea. So I think I'll stick to the friends part. I'm not family, and I'm gonna step out of the fools category, right? And
Absolutely.
I think masterminds are absolutely fabulous.
Yeah,
So, so you get together every week and you share like deep, personal, intimate stuff with each other. Wow.
right.
And so how does that help people?
Um, if I'm in a group where I'm trusted, I'm loved, I'm cared for, and it takes a couple months sometimes to get in there. Different men come to it faster, but really knowing what's up in my life and me being willing to share that allows them to really speak into my life. It allows them to see my life and point out or question possible blind spots. I see them as a board of directors for me.
Your personal board of directors for every area of your life. That's really incredible, Brian. So, I've heard you talk about a path with 3 pillars for Christian men to achieve fulfillment. Um, can you talk a little bit about what the Kingdom Family Leader Path is and how it leads to wholeness and purpose?
Right, right. I think I always have been trying to do better and do better. And there were a couple times in life when I'm like, I'm there. Why doesn't it feel like it?
Right.
I'm almost there. Where are the good feelings?
Yeah.
And part of that is just being disconnected inside. And one of the big fallacies Christians have a lot of time is there's the scriptures that tell us we need to love others, we need to serve others, we need to put others first, and it's love your neighbors worse than yourself. Okay, not quite, is it? And that's the key
Yeah,
point.
you made me take a pause there. Wait a minute. I didn't think that's how it read. Sorry, continue on.
What does it read?
Oh, don't ask me to be quoting all of that.
You're not the theologian.
You are the expert here, Brian, not me.
Love others as yourself. So our first pillar is bless yourself. If I don't have it, I can't give it to you. It may come from my higher source, it may come from God, but when it gets down to this world, if I don't have $100 in my wallet, I can't give you 100. I can't give you 10. And It's notorious for single parents to do this. My wife struggles with it of giving, 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 and not blessing ourselves. When you run a company and you don't bless yourself, things are bad. When you're running a family and you don't bless yourself, things are bad. And you know about running companies.
Yeah, pay yourself first, right? It's the golden rule.
I love that book, Profit First. I haven't looked at that in a while. Well, you didn't say that book, but yes, we got to take care of ourselves first. So that's the first pillar. And it's
Right,
kind of a mindset shift because Christianity's impression doesn't do that. And we need to do that. We need to take care of ourselves, especially looking at high performing leaders in business. It's like, well, I'm high performing. And sometimes we're high performing out here and not at home. And sometimes we're high performing in the community and not at work and not at home. And that's where that disconnect comes from. But by blessing ourselves, we can assess, where am I? Where
right,
am I performing and where am I not performing? And
right.
then we
And
move.
can I just say something that I noticed here? So, I mean, you said high performing people, high performing men, right? Where are you performing and where are you not? And how can you perform really well if you don't look after yourself first?
Absolutely.
So
We
you're
look
really,
good.
really bringing this all together. That's great.
Yeah, we look good. I looked good multiple times in life. I don't look as good as I did those other times, but I'm gooder now than I
Right.
was those other
You're a few
times.
years older. You look great, Brian.
Yeah, thanks. All the hair's gone and everything.
It's a good look
This
for you.
the second pillar of the process is expand your territory. And as much as it is expand your territory, it's really getting an awareness of, where is my territory? What is my territory?
Right,
So we look at it in a Venn diagram. We look at three circles. Here's everything I'm aware of, everything I know about.
right,
Here's everything that I can affect, that I can change. And some of that I know that I don't know about. And then finally, here's the stuff that I care about. And where the
right,
three of those interact, what I care about, what I know about, and what I can do something about, that's the hot spot.
right,
That's where we need to go with our gifts, our talents, our treasures, and use what God's given us to serve and build his kingdom.
right,
In this pillar, we look at a few aspects. Are the circles in the right place? Because we can move those circles. We can learn more. We can be aware of more. Our concerns can change, and we can shift those circles around if we find that we need to.
right,
The third pillar is serve his kingdom. And a lot of the business owners that I work with come into the service kingdom and they're thinking, all right, I got the business. Now I got to go serve his kingdom. And we find, looking at the business and going back to that Venn diagram, that business is really in that hot spot,
yeah,
and recognizing they don't have to leave work to do kingdom work.
right, right. Can you just give me an example of that? Because I'm not sure everybody really grasps exactly what you mean. I mean, there's their business and there's kingdom work. And so how are you doing kingdom work within your business? Can you just give me an
Right.
example?
Yeah. So scripture says, whatever you do, do it as to the Lord and not as to men. And in a business, like Hobby Lobby is a perfect example. I don't work with them, but they raised their minimum wage for everybody to 18.50 an hour.
Yeah, wow.
They looked at loving their team. Their team is like a family. And
Yeah,
at the same time as they did that, there were people who were making 18.50 an hour. They bumped them up too.
right,
So it was a massive risk overall, and yet it was a victory. So kingdom work in your company is loving your people.
right.
It's loving your customers. It's when I ran a software company, one of our core values, I still have it written here on a little post note, do what's right. love your customers, serve them, be that company that you want to go to. My daughter went to another hobby store the other day, and she's like, I couldn't believe it, Dad. And I didn't train her. She's like, I couldn't believe, Dad, the prices there and the stuff. And I want to go back to Hobby Lobby.
Right.
So recognizing that our companies are people, and people are who we've been called to serve, who we've been called to be in community with by God to do that. And serving in our company, serving ourselves, bless ourselves, first pillar, having that income and building a structure in our company that has that family flexibility.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's such a valuable lesson because I mean, there's so many, um, I mean, you hear of so many, we'll call it businesses or business owners who are just out there for themselves. And those companies are terrible places to work quite often because they don't really care. So, I mean, what a valuable message.
Yeah. And some of them care on paper,
Yeah,
family first, or even in voice in meetings, family first. But if you don't build around that, build that structure, figure it out, bring, include everybody.
right.
Not everybody's going to be in on every meeting, but really be there, be aware of that couple that's splitting up in your company, that couple that is split and has kids, that death of a family member, all these things. Unlimited vacation is a wonderful thing, and yet it can be a trick. It's like people don't feel worthy for it. One company I worked with, um, everybody worked all the time. They were on vacation, they were ready, and they were checking in and doing stuff.
Yeah,
And I told him that's wonderful. It's a good culture. It was a great company to work with. I said, you might need to get your boot out and kick these guys when they're on vacation and say, kick them in the mouth, get them to shut up and go have some real vacation. You
right.
love the passion they have and how they bring it, but they're doing your company and themselves a disservice.
Well,
So
it
really,
comes back to your first pillar, looking after yourself.
yeah. And a lot of them were millennials and young guys in there. So they were they might have loved it, and I might have missed the bar because I'm so old, but
You're
I
not
think in
old.
the long run it's got to do that. So
Yeah,
having those three pillars in place, and you move between them, you can be blessing and serving his kingdom and recognize, oh wow, I need to do something in the bless myself area. And that can, my first kingdom is me. That's the bless myself.
right.
My second kingdom is my family. And my third kingdom and fourth is kind of and beyond, whether
Right.
that's your
Well,
business.
I have to say, Brian, knowing you, I know that your family kingdom is super important to you. So,
Thank you. Yeah. And they're all God's kingdom. I'm just a steward. I like in Lord of the Rings, the steward is in place of the king, and he's not doing such a good job. And I
right,
pray and I work to do a better job. And
right,
that's what we do in the coaching and in the mastermind is we are all working to be good stewards of what we have and have that band of brothers to come together and learn and grow together to be better people, to
right,
be a kingdom family leader. And it's not always a leader as a business owner or even a leader as a title. As a good, strong Christian, if you have a good, strong Christian foundation, you're going to be a leader as a follower in
right,
your department, in your place of work. You'll be like, sometimes we're the only Bible people read, and we can lead from the
right.
bottom or the top.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting that you say that, Brian, because everybody's a leader in some part of their life, right? So, that's a great distinction to make. Wow. And
Yeah.
so I've heard you say before that isolation is the enemy. What do you mean by that?
Yeah. So that's kind of the key root of the whole story for me. I told you I had these moments of grandness. of greatness. I am front stage. Everybody knows me. Everybody's recruiting me. We want you on our team. Come to our state and run our ski racing program. And I was, I was hot stuff.
You still
Except,
are, Brian. Come on.
yeah, except I wasn't consistent all the way through. I know we
Yeah.
talked and when we've been learning together about our conscious and unconscious. We just talked just now about being a good leader at home, in our business, and in our
Right.
community.
Yeah.
And I was a good leader at work, and I was fighting and struggling with secret struggles and secret sins. And that kept me pushing people away. I had to look good. My mask had to be strong so that I could have my sin. And that just ate at me all the time. I couldn't connect with people. I was afraid if anybody finds out about my secret struggles, everything will collapse around me. And
Wow.
so isolation was the enemy. It kept me there until I broke out and I got into recovery and I got into therapy and got out of incongruence. I got into alignment. And I wouldn't say that we're ever aligned
Right.
until we reach heaven, but I was so far out of alignment that I needed some restructuring and reformatting.
Right.
Uh, Another phrase related to isolation is the enemy is successful misery. Just
Ooh.
having that full success and like,
Yeah.
where's I did it. I did A, B, and C, and D didn't show up, and I'm miserable. And that comes from a misalignment in my internal self and my external self, and also misalignment between my conscious and my unconscious mind. So we
Right.
can do a lot of work there in community because that community and my training and my experience, I coached ski racing for 13 years,
Wow.
studying,
I didn't know that part of you, Brian.
yeah, sports psychology and studying how the mind works and visualization. And we integrate all of that into here.
Wow.
Um, and so as Christian men, it's so normal for, wow, that's funny. That reminds me of the course we just did recently.
Right.
It's so normal to be the solver, the leader, the reachable but above everything.
Yeah.
And especially when I had my masks on, it was really strong and prevalent. I've got everything figured out.
Right.
And I was all alone. And I didn't have everything figured out. I looked like I did. I really was in that identity
Yeah.
near perfection. I had kids competing internationally from age 10 to 14 years old. I
Right.
was looking at US team level work with the US ski team, and it just wasn't, I was disconnected. It was just an identity outside of myself.
Right.
As men, it's so hard to be vulnerable, um, and come forward. Over 50% of church men struggle with pornography.
Really, I had no idea.
And less than 10% admit it. I don't know the second number, but very few of them will admit it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't see half the hands go up in church if the question was asked. But
Right.
having that opportunity to get coaching, sometimes people come and they're like, "Oh, I want mastermind, but I'm not talking about my secret struggle." And that's where we'll
Right.
go one on one and say, "Well, what is that secret struggle? And what do you need?" And look at the
Right.
conscious and the unconscious, look at the root causes and figure that out, get them to a place of growth and maturity and healing where they can come to a group of 8 men and say, almost like AA, my name's
Yeah.
Brian and I struggle with sexual addiction.
Right.
Or like we say at Celebrate Recovery, my name's Brian and Jesus has set me free from sexual addiction. And
Wow.
really look to the positive and look to um, what we can get through community, what we can get for all the people God put down here. But the first step is being willing to be vulnerable and connect. And we're not talking about the football game connect or the water cooler or copy room connect. We're talking about going a step deeper of share yourself. And if you aren't doing that at home, come do it here so you can learn to do it at home. If you're not doing that at business or in the world, come join us and find the opportunity to do it in a safe way to know yourself. We're back to pillar one.
Right,
Bless yourself by processing that struggle and finding the answer and finding healing.
right. Like
And
it just,
then
yeah,
thrive and whole. It's that wholeness and that completeness that gave me fulfillment, that gave me the vision of everyone needs a mastermind.
right. Yeah, and I can't like I just I have this this vision and this feeling that it's just such a tight bond that forms between the people in the mastermind. I mean, sharing that authentically and that deeply and helping each other, what an incredible resource that is for people. That's
Yeah.
great.
And some people have that. And if you don't, you need it. And if you can't find a place to get it, come here. We're here for you.
Yeah. Wow. And so how do people get in touch with you, Brian? How do they get involved in one of your masterminds or in
Well,
your coaching?
yeah. So the first step would be take our Kingdom Family Leader Assessment. It's a little PDF that you can download that has the three pillars, has a bunch of questions. You self-score yourself. It'll give you some great ideas and hints and successes. Hopefully you got a good score on some of them because you're trying, you're here, you're listening to this, you click the link, and that'll give you a Kingdom Family Leader score. And then
Right.
from there, you'll get on our email list and connected, and every email has an invite to chat with me. And you can get that at kfl.vision/assessment, and we'll put it down in the notes below the
Okay.
video or nearby so people can get
Perfect.
it. And then just start connecting.
Yeah. That's great, Brian. Thank you so much. I've learned whole new dimensions about who you are and what you believe in and what you do. That's like it's wonderful. Like it's such a it's you know it's such a great resource for people, for men to be able to really connect, like a safe space. And you have you have so many different sides to you. You know, you've got your funny side, you've got your serious side, and you have that deep trusting side, and you're really able, based on work that we've done together in other areas, I know that you're able to really, really create a safe space for people. So I think that's beautiful, Brian.
Hey, Hella, thank you so much.
All
You
right.
are awesome.
Thank you. And so are you. So we'll put a link in the notes below. And I encourage all you men out there to get in touch with Brian. Until next time, have a great day.
Thank you.